We gotta get the brakes bled and we'll get it filled up with gas. Oh, Stephen, you started early on me. Hey everybody, welcome to this week's video. We got two races to talk about this past weekend. We were 2 nights at Bowman Gray. We raced Friday night and Saturday night. It was an exciting weekend, I guess you could say. It wasn't bad for us. It wasn't quite the results we wanted, but we had some positive stuff happen in the meantime. Friday night was like a normal Saturday night. With the K&N cars being there on Saturday night, they bump everything up and they run all their normal divisions, the street stock sportsman and stadium stock. With the modifieds, they ran that on Friday night as a normal Saturday night show. Friday night was a 100 lapper. I forget who it was. Me, Jason, 83 and 13 made the top 4, and they have the Colors Edge Challenge for qualifying. And me and Jason decided to take it. It was up to $6,000. Basically, you know, I don't mean it to sound ugly, but $6,000 is as much or a little bit more than what the championship pays. So, you know, to not go for that, knowing that you could draw in the back and not get it anyway. If you draw in the back, let me say this: if you choose not to go and take the challenge, and then you draw in the back, and then you make it to the top 4. You know, it'd be a pretty disgusting feeling. So I said, you know what, me and Jason talked about it and said for $6,000, you know, we might as well try it. Before the race, we agreed that that we would split if one of us made it, because you never know, starting in the back like that with a mixed up field, 100 lapper, you know, if one of us gets the front end knocked off the car and the other one makes it, and you know, we still get to put a little money in our pocket. So we elected to do that. So Jason qualified ahead of me, so he actually started right behind me, and I was next to last. As the race got going, it was pretty wild. It was one of the wildest races from my point of view, from end to seat. I actually spun out through the infield, a pit. We had some. Actually, what happened? The radiator cap went bad, and it was blowing water out. And it was blowing it out under the car. We didn't lose a ton of water, but the thing about it is with these motors, you can't sacrifice, even if it paid $10,000, you can't sacrifice that to destroy your motor. So we got a caution, ended up coming in pit and took some of the nose panels off, and it actually let a little bit more air get through. I don't know if we lost any more water after that or not. We run a water pressure gauge in our car, and what that does, I don't want to get too technical, but if you lose all the water out of your radiator, we've had this happen before, had a piece of debris go through the radiator and it dumps all your water out. Well, your water temperature gauge, if there's no water in the radiator, your water temperature gauge won't read hot, because there's no, it's reading the air. There's no water there for it to sense how hot it is. So we started running a water pressure gauge, and what that does is, you know that if your gauge, no matter what your gauge says on your temperature, your water pressure gauge, if it shows that you have water pressure, then that means that the system has water in it, and you're getting a good reading on your gauge. So my gauge never really got up really hot, but whenever you have a radiator cap go bad, it can give you a false reading on your gauge. My gauge was going up and down and up and down, but man, I don't know, I guess it was around halfway. I had to come in and pit, and took some panels off. I think I made it back up to 5th. Then I don't even know what happened. I just remember the 77 and the 13. I don't remember who else. We were all racing side by side. We came off the corner and everybody's sliding and banging around, and I got into the fence with the right side of the car, smacked the wall, and 3 or 4 more got back by me. And we had a couple different restarts there at the end, and at the end of the day, I made it back to 4th. So I won the $6,000 for the Colors Edge Challenge. You know, a win is nice, and I'm not discrediting wins by any means, because they're very hard to come by over there, or anywhere in racing. But for $6,000, it was one of those deals. I was willing to sacrifice the chance to get back to the win, to sacrifice getting back to the top 4 to try to win the $6,000. So we were able to do that. I was the first one to be able to do that. So that's always, that's a cool deal for us. So like I said, I finished 4th. Jason had a problem, I think his vibration, he had a bad vibration. Come to find out, his drive shaft, I guess, I don't know if it was the yoke or the universal, I don't know exactly what happened there, but he had a real bad vibration. It probably came from the week before. whenever the rear end messed up on him, so something went bad on him there. So anyway, we came back Saturday night. On Saturday night, it was just K&N and modified. There was none of the other Bowman Gray regular divisions. It was another 100-lapper, another Colors Edge Challenge if you wanted to take a chance on it. This time I qualified 5th. I think it was 5th, maybe even 6th. So it took us out of the equation. So I didn't even have to make that decision. It was 83, 4, 71, and 65. And the 65 and the 71 actually elected to try it. And my daughter Jade was in town from Ohio. She came straight to the racetrack Saturday, and she went in and drew number 2 starting position for me. So the 83 drew 1, I drew 2. I think Jason was 7th, 13 was 5th. So there were some solid cars up towards the top 10. So our car, I've made some changes here lately. The car, as the track is changing, the tires are a little bit inconsistent as far as the softness and the hardness and how long they've been sitting in that truck. I mean, you got to imagine if you take a tire and leave it in that truck, and I'm not faulting anybody, but this is just the way it goes. When that tire sits in the truck all week long, it's 80, 85 degrees outside, and it gets really, really hot during the day, and then it cools off at night. And then it gets really hot during the day, and it cools off at night. Well, that's simulated heat cycles that tire's going through. So if you have a really hot week, and then that weekend you get to Bowman Gray, and then you pick your tires off the truck, the tire may be a little bit different as far as the characteristics of it than it was the week before. That being with the K&N cars were there, so it's a little bit different rubber on the track than what we used to. So the track is getting hot, it's getting greasy. Our car was off just a little bit Saturday night. At the first part of the race, the car was probably faster than the 83, and at the end of the race, the 83 was faster than I was. At the end of the night, we finished 2nd. Like I said, we started last Friday night, finished 4th, and won the Colors Edge Challenge, the $6,000 bonus. Came back Saturday night and finished 2nd. So it'd be hard for me to complain about that. We've had a pretty solid season so far. But this week coming up, we've got twin 25s. I'm making some more changes on the car. It's like Roy used to tell me, if you go back week after week after week and you have the same setup and you expect different results, then you're fooling yourself. So no matter how good your car is, week after week after week, if you're not constantly trying to find that edge and trying to find more, there's always somebody else out there that is. So I'm making a lot of changes this week. Try to go back over there and run the little sprint, the 25-lap sprint races this weekend. So I feel good about what we're doing with it. I think we're going to be solid. Thanks to everybody that came down. There was a lot of fans that came down. The autograph session on track is always really cool because I see a lot of different faces, because you have to imagine Bowman Gray is one of the few places that after the races are over with, the fans can come down in the pits and they can see the cars and the drivers and all that stuff in the pit area. Well, that's usually at 11:30 at night. So whenever they do the on-track autograph session at, I don't know, was it 6 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock, it allows the fans that don't normally get to come down into the pits after the race, it allows them to come down onto the track and get an up-close personal on the track with the cars and with the drivers. So that's always really neat to be able to experience that. So like I said, this week, Twin 25's coming up. I want to thank my sponsors, Speedway Auto Auction, Budget Sales and Leasing, CitraSafe Cleaners, True Timber Camo, Haviland Express, Adams Towing, John's Cleanup Supply, my buddy John. Like I said, there's always Mark, MJ Printing and Graphics, does my t-shirts for me. The guys, man, this weekend, you know, a lot of times we don't think about it. We race so often and we just go that we don't take time to think about how often we go. This is my lifestyle and this is what I do, but my lifestyle is a lot different than the guys that help me. So the fact that a lot of the guys were able to come Friday night and Saturday night and sweat it out and you know, be able to be there to support me and help me, I couldn't do it without them. So thanks to everybody that came out. Please share this. As always, let us know where you're watching from, where you're looking at, where you're where you're at. Let us know where you're watching from. Come out and see us this weekend. Like I said, Twin 25s, Bowman Gray. Hope you can make it. God bless you.